Hello, my name's Ethan. This is going to be a tutorial on how to do the Sierra Pacific Community College District assignment. So let's begin. First step you should do is when you open this file, it's probably going to be opened in protected mode. So make sure you click that enabled. I've already done it, so it's not there. The file should be automatically renamed to include your name, but if it's not, make sure it has your name on it before we begin and save it, and you should be good. All right, moving on to step 2 here, we're going to create range names for the workbook. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to go to the student loan sheet. So make sure we're on student loan sheet here. And we are going to select the cells B5 to C8. So B5 right here to C8 down this corner. So we're selecting this rectangle here. And now we're going to press and hold Control and select the cells E5 to F7. So that's going to be these 6 cells over here. Perfect. Now we're going to go to the Formulas tab. I'm already on it. We're going to click in the Define Name section. We're going to click Create from Selection. Perfect. And this pop-up is going to pop up, and we're going to make sure that the left column is checked, nothing else, just the left column. And then we click, yeah, perfect, sorry. Just make sure the left column is the only one checked. If the top row one is checked, uncheck it. So this is what it should look like. Then click OK. And then we're going to click Name Manager up here. So now it's got all of our values that we clicked in that range. And something to notice here is I'll make this window a little bit bigger. Oh, that didn't help. Is that the values are going to be absolute values, meaning they have that money sign on them so that they can't change them when we try and use fill formats. So going back to this pop-up here, we're going to click close. So now we've made sure and we put all our range names in our workbook. So that's step 2 done. On to step 3, we're going to add a payment function. So you can click off this, and we're going to go to cell C8. So that's right here. So for the loan, we need to figure out how much are we paying per period. So what we're going to do is we are going to click in C8 right here, and then we're going to go to the financial button in the formulas up here. So financial. And we are going to click PMT. So you might have to scroll down here until you find PMT right here. We're going to click it. So now this pop-up is going to pop up, and basically we just have to fill in all the information. So the rate, click. So the rate, if you haven't selected it, click it. And we're going to click this arrow here, and it's going to bring us back to this function. And we're going to click cell C7. So this is the rate of the loan. Perfect. And then we're going to click enter. So notice how the number, the 4.5% is now over here, but this is just in decimal form. Perfect. Oh, I made a mistake. Hold on. We're going to make sure that this is divided by 12 because this seems to be a monthly rate or yearly rate, and so we want to turn it into months. So we're going to divide it by 12 there. Then we're going to go to the number of periods, or n per, and we're going to click the cell C6, so 5 here. And notice, yeah, perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this by 12 just to bring it to, if I'm looking at this correctly, the number of months. Perfect. So we're taking this yearly rate. It's probably compounded monthly. So we're dividing it by 12 to get a monthly rate. And then we're multiplying the number of years, the loan term, by 12 to get the number of months. So we're multiplying months by the monthly rate. That's good. Perfect. So now moving on, we're going to go to present value, or PV. and we're going to type a minus sign because this is a loan. So we have to pay back this money. We're going to click a minus sign, and then we're going to click C5, so the loan amount. So we should have 0.0037560 at negative 10,000. That's our value. And as you can see, we can leave the future value and the type boxes empty. But as you can see, Excel's already calculated the payment we have to pay. So that is $186.43 and some decimals. And so you should get this number down here. It should be as a positive value too. Perfect. We're going to click OK. And as you can see, that number has just kind of filled itself into the payment. And perfect. And just in case, if this isn't in a, if this doesn't format with a money sign, you're going to go up here, go into general, go into number, click the arrow down here, and you're going to click on accounting. So it should show up, it should look something like the loan payment there. It should all look with that money sign and the decimal all lined up. Perfect. Now we're going to move on to step 4, which is create the total interest formula. So we're going to click on cell F5 right here. And this is going to be our total interest. So it's the value calculated by multiplying the monthly payment by the total number of payments to determine total outlay. So from this amount, you subtract the loan amount. Awesome. So we are going to type. So we're going to make a formula in this cell. So we're going to click equals. We're going to click on C8. So that's our payment we figured out earlier. We're going to type the asterisk or the multiply sign. We're going to type 12. Yeah, because we're multiplying for 12 monthly payments. And then we're going to type a minus sign. Perfect. And we're going to click on cell, excuse me, we're going to click on cell C5. So it should look like, oh, hold on, I missed a bit. Sorry, excuse me. It should be multiplied by the loan term. So it should, formula should look like this. It should be payment equal sign payment times loan term times 12 minus the loan amount. And you can see that payment times the loan term times 12 minus that loan amount. Excuse me, I made a mistake there. Perfect. And so no parentheses are needed because we're using BEDMAS here. So all you have to do is just press enter, and the results should be $1,185.81. Awesome. Now we're going to calculate the total cost of the loan. So this is the interest we're paying, but we have to pay back the loan, the actual $10,000 as well. So we've got to figure out what the total cost is. Essentially, what is the interest plus the principal? And so what we're going to do first is we are going to figure out what the principal is. So let's click on F6, and well, the principal is just the amount we borrowed at the very start. And in this case, it's going to be that $10,000. So we're going to type an equal sign, and we're going to click on C5 and press enter. And we've just moved over the principal or the loan amount to the principal now. Now, like I said, the total cost of the loan is going to be the interest. So we're moving over to interest plus the total principal. And we click enter. And it turns out at the end of this loan, we're going to pay back $11,000, $11,185.81 total. And that's going to consist of $1,200-ish of interest and $10,000 of principal. Wonderful. So we've got all these cells filled out here, which is good. Now we're going to move on to number 6, step 6, where we have to fill in this table down here and make a amortization schedule. So we're going to figure out what the beginning balance is and ending balance is at each period. So we're going to start off by clicking B13, so the beginning cell, payment 1, and we're going to enter the this is going to be the beginning balance of the loan amount. So we're going to click equals, and that's going to be the $10,000. So we're starting off, the balance of our loan is $10,000. And we want to make sure, again, that all the cells here are formatted with this accounting format. So we're going to go, if it's not, we're going to click on the cell, go up to the box here, click the arrow, then slide down to accounting. Oops, so now it should have this nice money sign in front of it. Wonderful. So now we're going to select cell C13. And what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the interest is for each payment. So what we're going to do is we're going to click equals. So the interest, sorry, I should mention the interest for each payment is calculated by multiplying the balance in column B by the rate divided by 12. So to do that, we're going to click equals in cell B, or excuse me, C13. We're going to click B13. We're going to type a multiply and click C7. So that's our rate. Perfect. We're going to type divided by 12 because we want to turn that rate into a monthly percentage. And we should, oh, and it's important to note that parentheses are important. So we have to have parentheses here and here because we want to make sure that the division gets done first. And we're going to press enter, and we should get $37.50. So essentially, what that means is in the first period, we are paying $37.50 in interest. Wonderful. So now we're going to move over to D13. So this is the principal amount. So we want to figure out each period, what are we paying in interest and what are we paying in principal? So we're going to select D13. And the portion of principal is applied to the principal is calculated by subtracting the interest portion from the payment. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is we are going to type equals, and we're going to click C8. So that's our payment amount, and we're going to subtract minus C13. So we're going to subtract what our interest was, and click enter. So we'll skip a step, and then I'll explain how we get this number. We're going to click E13, and this is the total payment of interest plus the principal amount. And as such, we're just going to add what's our interest. So we're going to click on C13 plus our D13. Click enter. And I'll finish this last step, I guess, before I can explain everything, and so you can know what's going on. So we're going to click F13 now. And this is step O on step 6.0. Click F13. And now we want to figure out what the ending balance of the loan is. So we're going to click equals. We're going to click B13. We're going to click minus, and we're going to minus the principal amount in D13. Perfect. So now we should get this one line here. So we start out with $10,000, and we're going to make a payment of $186. Now, $148 of that payment is going towards paying off the principal, and $37 is going off to paying the interest. So in the end, what we're doing is we're subtracting the beginning balance minus the amount we actually paid towards the principal to get our ending balance of $9,851. Amazing. And there's a chart there if you missed any of those formulas, if you want to make sure that you get them all right. So now we're going to move on to step 7. So we've done this for one row here, and we want to do this for all the rows if you scroll down to row 72. So what we're going to do is we're going to select cells A13 to A14, so these two payments, and notice how they're going up by 1, by 2, and we're going to click on this so that our cursor is a plus sign, and we're going to drag it all the way down to 72. So drag it down to 72, and as you can see, it will automatically fill up down to 60 payment periods. Amazing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select B B14 and doing a little bit of financial common sense, the beginning period, the beginning balance of the next period is going to be the ending balance of the previous period. So we're going to click in B14, we're going to click F13. We're just moving the number over, so that's the beginning balance of the next period. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we did with the payments, and we're going to bring this formula down. Now, instead of clicking it, dragging all the way down, what we can do is since we've already have this payment column here and it tells us where to stop, we can just move our cursor over the button, over the bottom right corner, so it's a plus, and then double click it, and Excel will automatically fill in every cell down to 60 with that same formula. So it's going to look at the one above. Perfect. And the result should be 0 because we haven't put anything in these cells yet. Amazing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to select C through F here, so these 4 cells. And same thing, bottom right corner, we're going to double click. And as you can see, Excel works its magic and fills in every single cell until the bottom. Perfect. So you should have something like this. There's a figure in the instructions, tells you how to do as well. And something key to note is that at the end of the 60 periods, the ending balance of your loan should be 0. So if it's not 0, double check it, because that means we paid off the loan. Now what we're going to do is we're going to Control Home to get back to the start, and we are going to preview the document as if we were going to print it. So what we're going to do is we're going to select cell A12 right here, and we're going to go to Page Layout at the top here. Boom. And we're going to click on Print Titles right here. So this pop-up should show up. We're going to click on, where is it? Rows to repeat at top. And we're going to click in the box. We're going to click on this row here. So it's going to select the entire row to stay at the top if we print this. We're going to click Print Preview just to be sure, and this should show up. So now this is our first page. Looks kind of like our normal Excel document, but if we scroll down, you'll notice that that payment, the beginning balance, the interest, and the rest of the titles still stay at the top. If we didn't do the step we did before, they wouldn't be there. So this is good. So then if you actually print this out to show someone, you can follow along with the titles. Last thing I want to mention about this student loan sheet is that if we go to our print titles and we go to our print preview, we can see that the columns, the charts on this page aren't centered horizontally. So maybe we'd like to center them horizontally. So what we can do is go out of the print preview. We're going to go to Page Layout, Print Titles. At the top here of the pop-up, there's going to be Margins. We're going to click on Horizontally. We're going to click Print Preview. And now you can see that the margins for this top part here, the margins for the sheet are equal on both sides. So it's centered horizontally. Now we're going to move on. So that we've done everything we can do here. This is, if your sheet looks like this, with all the numbers in it, you've done great. So now we're going to move on to our fees and credits, and this is a whole new challenge, but a fun challenge. So we're going to click on the fees and credits, and now what we want to do is we want to figure out the total fees for each of the courses, and then we're going to use a couple Excel functions to figure out the number of students, total fees, and total credit hours according to each department. So starting in the fees and credits tab, make sure you click on this. We're going to select cell F7, so total fees, the very first cell. Now, to figure out the total fees, it's going to equal the number of students times the course fee that each student has to pay. So what we're going to do is we're going to click equals, click on number of students, click the multiply sign, And we're going to click cell E7, and we're going to press enter. As you can see, if 12 students are each paying $125, the total fee is going to be $1,500. Same thing we did in the last sheet. We're going to move to the bottom right corner. So it's a plus sign, double click. Excel will automatically copy that formula all the way down. Wonderful. And we want to make sure that, again, kind of similar to last sheet, we're going to make sure that if these don't have a money sign in front of them, we're going to want to use the currency, not the accounting. In this case, we just want the currency. Wonderful. Let's move on to step 10 here. We have to calculate statistics by each department. So we're going to click on cell 26 here, or C26, excuse me. We're going to move over to formulas at the top, click on math and trig, and we're going to scroll all the way down to sum if. Right here, sum if. So sum if has 3 criteria we have to fill here. So we have to tell it the range. So what we're going to do is we're going to click cells B7 to B18. And we want to make sure that these are absolute references. So we're going to press the F4 key once to ensure that they all have money signs in front of both the columns and the rows. Awesome. We're going to move over to the criteria here. And we're going to click B26. We also want to make this an absolute reference, or we don't want to make this a reference, but we want to make it a mixed reference, I should say. So we're going to click F4 3 times. 1, 2, F4, not 4. 1, 2, 3. So you can see the money sign is in front of B and not 26, which means the column is locked, but not the row, which is what we want. So this is perfect. Let's move on to some range, and we are going to do something similar to the first range. We're going to click on a D7 and scroll D7 and scroll all the way down to D18. And same thing, we're going to press F4 once so that there's money signs in front of both the columns and the rows for both cells. Now, what sum if is going to do is what we told it to do is look at this first row, and if any of these cells match our criteria, in this case bio, so if any of these have the department of bio, you're going to add the corresponding value to the total. So we're going to add 12 to 10 to 15. If you do your math, that's going to be 37. As you can see, sum if is doing the math correctly. So we should get 37 down here. So it should look like this. You should get 37 down here. And then you're going to click OK. And as you can see, now it just prints that number into the number of cells. Now, wonderful. So we've got 37 here, but we'd like to bring it down and figure out the number of students per other departments. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the bottom right corner, hover over the bottom right corner, excuse me, so you get the plus sign, but we're going to right click and drag down. This menu pops up, and we're going to click fill without formatting. So now you should get the values for each department without the formatting of the top one. Now we have to figure out the total fees and total credit hours for each department. So we're going to do the same thing and copy the formula over into cells D26 and E26. So I'm doing the same thing, right click and dragging, fill without formatting. And you can see there's a bit of an error here. So we've got to troubleshoot this error and edit the sum formula. So we're going to click, let's start with total fees. We're going to start and click on D26 here, D26. And this is, obviously an error that has not been flagged. We're going to click the trace precedence button. So we're going to go to formulas, and then we're going to go to formula auditing and trace precedence. Wonderful. And now you can see we've got these arrows that show where the formula is getting its data from. And we can see that we've made a mistake in column D here because it's still looking at the number of students and not the course fees, or the total fees, I should say, excuse me. So what we want to do is click on the insert function button in the formula bar, and it's going to pop up. It's going to bring up that sum if function. So what we want to do is we want to move down to the sum range, which is this cell here, and we want to select these cells here. Oh, wait a second. We want to get rid of everything, I should say, first, and then we want to select these cells. Perfect. So now we're not looking at column D here, but we're looking at F7 through F18. We're going to press F4 so it locks these cells, and we're going to click OK. So now we have this sum if formula, but Excel is going to freak out a little bit. It's going to have an error triangle, a warning sign that says this formula and this differs from the other formulas of the spreadsheet. It's going to think, oh, something's wrong here. But there is nothing wrong here. We're doing this right. So we have to tell Excel, no, wait a second, this is right. So you're going to go over here. You're going to click on the error triangle. This menu is going to pop up, and we're going to click ignore error. And the error goes away. Now we're going to do the same exact thing, and we're going to, as we did with the number of students, we're going to go to total fees, the bottom right corner, get the plus sign, right click and hold and drag down, fill without formatting, and now we've got the total fees. Last thing we should do is with this total fee selected, let's go to home, let's go to general, and let's turn this all into currency so that we're actually talking in money figures. Wonderful. Now we're going to do an insert sum product formula. So we're going to click E26. And now what we've done before, what we did before is we copied over the sum if function, but this value is not a sum if calculation. We need to multiply the values in C times D, so the number of credit hours per student times the number of students to get the total number of credit hours for each class, and then we need to add all the classes together. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this first. We're going to get rid of this. So keep this cell blank. And we're going to go to the math and trig, go back to formulas, math and trig, and we're going to go to sum product, one word. So back to S, sum product. Click on this. So this pop-up is going to show up. What we want to do is we want to click on array, first array, and we're going to select cells C7 through C9. For the biology department, we're going to go to array 2, and we're going to click cells D9 or D7 to D9. So we're saying, okay, here are the credit hours, here are the number of students, those are the two numbers you're going to multiply. And what we're going to do is you should see, this should say 126 down here, and if it doesn't, you should double check you're doing everything right. But in this case, looks fine. We're going to click OK. Same thing's going to pop up. There's going to be an error because Excel is going to freak out because this is a new formula and it doesn't look like other adjacent formulas. So we're just going to go down, click on the triangle, and ignore the error. Now we have to do the same exact thing to cells E27 to E29. We're going to do the same exact thing. What we can do is we can just do what we did before, right click and drag in the bottom corner, fill without formatting. We want to double check our numbers though. So we're going to go click on each formula. Let's double check we get the numbers right. So insert function. We want to make sure, okay, are we selecting, we're on the foreign languages now. So we want to make sure that we select the first array of the foreign languages. Make sure this is, hold on, before you do anything, make sure it's blank. And then we're going to click on the credit hours, 3 cells of credit hours in the foreign languages department. And then we are going to click on the number of students in the foreign languages department, and we should get 105. Perfect. So that's foreign languages done. Let's move on to Microsoft Office. We're going to insert function just to double check it. Let's delete this, start from new. So Microsoft Office, we're going to select the credit hours here. And we're going to select the number of students. We get 108. And last one, insert function. We're going to do the physics. So the credit hours per class. Make sure we delete this, and then the number of students in each class. Click OK. And we should get the following values. Now, again, we have these error triangles, but what we can do is we can get all of them out of the way at once. So select, make sure you select all of them. Click the triangle here, click ignore errors, and all three are ignored. Wonderful. So we should have a cell like this. The formatting should all be the same. And the last couple of steps we have to do is we have to insert the date. So we're going to go to cell F31, so down here. And we're going to type equal sign. We're going to press tab. Oh, hold on. Equal sign. And we're going to click on, we're going to type TO, and Excel is going to be some suggestions of formulas to use. We want to use the today function. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the down arrow key to move down to today. We are going to press tab to select it, and we're going to press enter. So now it shows today's date, which is November the 17th. Wonderful. So we've got today's date here. We want to now paste the new range names. So we're going to click the plus sign here, make a new sheet. We're going to rename our sheet to range names. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on A1, press F3. It's going to have the name of all our ranges that we made at the very start. We're going to click paste list. It's going to paste them all in here. And now what we want to do is we want to auto fit each of these columns so that it is appropriate width. So we're going to click on the middle, the border between A and B, double click, and same thing, border between B and C, double click. Now the cells are formatted perfectly. Awesome. You are done with this worksheet. Make sure you save, close, and submit the assignment. Well done.